There, beautiful souls. Welcome, welcome back, or welcome to the Hawk and I. My name is Lana Zelinsky, and I work in the spirit dimensions. As always, in all my videos or my live feeds, just take what resonates, and you're welcome to leave the rest right here. Happy Friday! It's good to make it to Friday this week. It's been a very interesting week, and energetically, Spirit had some interesting stuff to say to me early this morning when I was doing some channeling. I've taken quite a few notes, so I'm hoping to be able to get through everything here. Um, I don't have a whole lot of time for extra questions or readings this morning. I do have to work with some in-person clients earlier this or later in the morning, so I do have to kind of get chit chatting here about what Spirit's saying about the energy. I'll give you a moment just to come on in. Good morning. Hi there, Wes and Diane, Quinn. I see you there. Come on in, everyone. Make yourself at home. Good morning. Hello, Maruna and Haley. Welcome. Welcome. It's so good and exciting to come. I had somebody ask me an interesting question about the week, the couple times a week that I'm on about taking the energy updates to either just once a week or even monthly. So I actually took that to Spirit, and Spirit gave me a very hard no that I need to continue doing this a couple times a week. And when I sat there with Spirit, I kind of leaned into like. What why not that I needed an answer, but why? And it was a few reasons, and I was very touched by Spirit's advice on this topic. you know, Gathering a couple times a week is good for all of us. It's good for me. It's good for all of you. It's good for us to make connections, but it's also good to take little steps. And Spirit was very clear with let's continue with 2 to 3 times a week with these little steps, with allowing ourselves to move through a week. Taking steps rather than a download or a bunch of information either weekly or even monthly or biweekly, and just kind of moving through the steps together. And I love that. I love, I love the support that we all give each other. I say that every time I'm on, and I love the support that you give to me and the learning that I do here too. So I am going to continue with 2 to 3 times a week energy updates and sitting with Spirit and staying in the moment with it. So what does Spirit have to say? Here we are at the end of the week. We got a lot of interesting energy this month. I've talked about it before with the two full moons, and we got a retrograde and the Lion's Gate and all this manifesting and all this energy. It's been a bit noisy energetically for me. I have found the physical world a little bit noisy and a little bit busy and sometimes chaotic. And one thing that Spirit said to me about what we're coming into over the next couple of days is this feeling of feeling raw. So I don't know if many of you can resonate with that feeling yet, but there's this rawness that's coming in. It's going to navigate its way through the weekend, and it's going to feel a little bit of an increased awareness, and it's going to come into waves. We're going to feel like these waves of rawness, this waves of, oh, there was some big learning. There's going to be a big shift into feeling raw, and it's going to feel, for some of us, it's going to feel uncomfortable. We're not always comfortable in being raw and open and with everything exposed, letting it all hang out. And that was one thing that Spirit was very clear on how we're going to feel is we're going to feel like it's all hanging out. You may feel that depending on how you react to it, because how we absorb and how we lean into this is extremely important. You may feel fingers pointing at you. You may feel like, oh, here we go again, and here's some more stuff for me to deal with. But it's coming in to kind of not just show you your strength that you have now gained, because there's a big push with using all of our spiritual growth that's coming in. I'm very excited for how the fall is feeling, because it's feeling very much for many of us who have been navigating through our own spiritual growth, our own life lessons, and navigating on, I understand that. I don't understand that, but I understand that, but I don't understand that. We are coming into a bit of a push in our growth with, okay, you've done a lot of work, and now it's time to take that into a forward momentum. One thing that was very clear, though, is we got to kind of navigate through these changes with this a bit, and I'll use the word brave or courageous. But when you kind of think about all the things you've been kind of either manifesting or working on your healing, working on old traumas, when we kind of push through, and many of us are going to like peek our head out the other side of that come the fall, and as we peek through our to the other side, there's a whole newness that's waiting for us, that's going to feel very unfamiliar. So I'll use the example, let's just say you've been, manifesting, um, I would love more abundance. That's one that we all kind of really want more of in our lives. We want to have more abundance in our lives. And if there's suddenly a shift and, oh my goodness, my job is on the line, and we may not recognize that this is the push forward that we've kind of been asking for because it feels a little bit rocky. It feels a little bit raw. It feels like a bit of oh no. And what spirit has been saying to me is there is such a big reason why new things are coming your way. And we've kind of been like asking and navigating and learning and healing. And there's new versions of ourselves that are waiting to the other side on the other side of that. And it's going to feel and it's going to start the momentum. I really feel it kind of starting. You may not have big moments of feeling raw over the next couple of days, but it's going to come through. It's going to start peeking its head. We're going to start having these things bubble up, and sometimes we kind of withdraw and retreat. And one thing that spirit was very clear on is you've been working so hard. This was a collective message for everyone. You've been working so hard on change. You've been working so hard on dealing with what's been coming your way, and you've been growing and stepping forward into it. And it's going to feel a bit different. So have you had moments where you have felt that internal shift within you? Have you felt a little bit different? Have you felt, I think I'm a little bit healed. I think I'm a little bit over that. I think I understand that. Have you had any of those moments where you've kind of felt that shift within, felt a little bit different? And if you're answering that as a yeah, I do feel like I've done my best and I felt it, says Haley. Yeah. Um I think when as we navigate through some of that, it does feel a bit raw, and it's just about trusting that rawness, and it's about trusting that new space, and it's about being brave enough to say, "Okay, that was then, and this is now, and I'm pushing forward in a bit of a new alignment." And just acknowledging that rawness. I haven't been here before. I haven't felt this level of depth to myself or connected to myself, or perhaps it's connection to other people. But I really felt that coming in. A few of you are acknowledging that. Yeah, feel a little bit odd, says Maruna. Jocelyn, I have Diane Quinn, feeling a little. Yeah, and I think as we navigate through that, and here's a big important piece is when we work through our lessons and when we work through the hard stuff and when we kind of enjoy the easy stuff and the growth and the space, we're coming into that raw feeling and we're coming into that newness. And sometimes that's hard to embrace. And then I think that's the biggest thing that we have to lean into a little bit is it can be hard to embrace it, and especially when we feel raw or exposed. And sometimes we will lean in a little bit with lack of support. No one's we do go there. No one's really supported me. I have supported myself. Absolutely. It's your journey. And that's one thing that spirit was kind of being gentle with me with the message was and gently lean into that raw feeling. Definitely been feeling a pull towards leaning into being more raw, especially regarding societal norms and expectations. Recently, I have been wanting to just be at peace with raw self. Um, so Nay, you said that beautifully, and I appreciate you sharing that, and I appreciate you being so open and raw to enjoy the space that you're in here today with how you're feeling. Astrid, so Wesley has mentioned Astrid has been around a lot lately. I've mentioned her a couple times. And I think that one of the biggest lessons that we're coming into as well, and I'll probably get more as I channel what's coming up for the fall and into the winter months, is just embracing who we are and embracing each other for who they are. And that can be very difficult because when we reverse this, sometimes we will struggle with other people navigating through their own rawness and having their own experience as well. And that becomes that teeter-totter of balance with their understanding their own rawness, and perhaps other people are navigating through their own experience. remember that piece of compassion and understanding as other people are figuring out how to navigate through their own rawness and support. There's the other thing with support is sometimes, all we can do is smile sweetly or send love and light to other people or to be supportive. I had a very interesting conversation with a client this week. I just simply asked this person, what is it that you need? What what how can I be of service? What is it that you need? Is is it a hug? Is it just a smile? Is it a holding space? Like, what is it that you need? And I think that's one thing that we kind of have to put out there a little bit when we're navigating through this journey collectively is sometimes it's that simple of what is it that you need? Right. And it might just be just to sit there and just have a good listen, just to turn on your ears and just really listen. So, as we navigate through the weekend, just remember that I said it because, it's easier sometimes to deal with our own rawness, but when other people are experiencing and exploring and working through, or perhaps, sometimes with this feeling, sometimes people will lean into that older space of trauma where it's familiar, or the older that they will lean back where it's familiar. So just kind of keep that in mind as you navigate through the next couple days. I'd be curious to see how your weekend goes, and when we gather here again on Monday morning. Um, Jolene, I feel like my life is off rails personally, professionally, and financially. Things just keep getting worse daily. The shift seems to be very impactful. It is very impactful. And one thing that I lean into, Diane, or sorry, Jolene, is sometimes when I'm going through my own stuff like that, I will often sorry, I froze there for a second, I think. I will often just kind of acknowledge that I'm making space for some new things, even when I don't understand it, even when things seem to be falling apart. Sometimes things are falling apart because and we will resist it. Like, I mean, how many times have you stayed in a relationship or a friendship longer than what you should have? And even though you knew it was time to take a step, you were fearful. And we do kind of dance a little bit in there sometimes, for perhaps longer than what we should, but the momentum and the timing of when we're ready gets louder and louder. And I'll often look at myself, I'll just use myself as an example, and I'll say, you know what, I'm ready for this now. I may not have been ready for it a week ago, a month ago, or a year ago, but I think I'm ready for it now. And spirit's being very clear and showing me that. And sometimes our spirit guides will do exactly that. They will show us something over and over and over again until we see it, until we realize that we're ready, until we feel that we can take that leap, start trusting at a different level. And quite often, this kind of thing will show up in a lot of relationship stuff, right? It's like it's time to move forward. It's time to continue, that growth. Often, our spirit guides will show us over and over and over again. Um, and, do we always understand it in the moment? No, because we do take things very personally. Now, and that's the other piece of it, of us being human. It's a wonderful experience, but man, sometimes it's hard, as we take it really, really personally. Or perhaps we're just not quite ready, and that's okay too. I've said to my guides many a times, I'm just not quite ready to take that step yet. And they will continue to show me and support me. And it's up to me to kind of navigate when I do feel ready, but there's always a reason for how you're feeling. Perhaps there's just that one more piece that you just need to work on a little bit harder with the healing. Perhaps there's just a little more space needed for letting go. It's these big things that do present us with a bit of that resistance space and that resistance energy, and it's hard to allow. Like, let's be brutally honest here. It can be really difficult to allow because we don't have that crystal ball of saying, okay, how is this going to work out? And am I making we don't have all the answers before we make decisions a lot of the times. So, when it comes to that raw feeling, that exposed feeling, or perhaps you're being shown a lot of things, we're shown the change, shown that there's a different direction. Should we choose it? It can be very difficult to lean in there. Love yourself and be gentle as you move through it. Sometimes we don't understand. There are things, even for me, spirit will show me things over and over and over again, or a feeling that will keep coming up and coming up and coming up. And it can be hard to kind of take a good hard look, or perhaps we simply don't know how. And that is a space that I think some of us may navigate through the next couple days is feeling that. I see that there's a lot of comments and a lot of nods, head nods. Yeah, I'm kind of feeling that space, or perhaps you're just coming out of it, or perhaps you're just coming into it. Yeah, so here we are. Let me just go up. I do have a few minutes to go through some questions. Or if you have any comments on what we've talked about, if you want to talk about it a little more, I'm happy to do that as well. Um, Julie, my partner's sister passed a few years back. Just wondering if she has any messages for him or for me. I literally felt like this super big, I felt the super big hug. I felt like I was like squeezed, almost to the point of my ribs cracking. I feel like she wraps her arms around. I don't know if she was a big hugger when she was here, but she's definitely sending a lot of hugs and love from the spirit dimensions. Extremely tight, and the other thing that she's saying is. I don't know if somebody here needs a lot of support, but she just keeps saying to me over and over and over again, hold each other tight. I feel like it's more of, an expansion, not just the two of you. But I feel like there's either a reason or somebody's not getting enough hugs, but she's really embracing that hugging feeling. I hope that that makes sense to you there, Jolene. Um, Aaron, yeah, Aaron's agreeing here. Maruna, yep, a little nod. Okay. Sone, I definitely been feeling a pull. Okay, I think I read that one. I did. Okay. Um, Dee Dee, I've been working through lots of hard stuff and feel more confident to move forward with more grace. Uh, Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And well done you. And I think that that's something that you need to kind of say to yourself as well is well done you. It's hard being here. The lessons can be brutal. It can be, a big shift, but yeah, you're ready. Big muscle flex. Good for you. Um so name definitely feeling the readiness. Maruna, this weekend, my cousin will visit us. I haven't seen her in 10 years and very anxious. Can you sense if we'll get along or learn from her? Maruna, I feel like I just literally seen like a chapter book. It was a big book. I think there's a lot of history there, or a lot of family history that's, on that side of the family. But what I feel is you have to go into this on a brand new page. I feel like you've got to kind of lean into your very different version of so I've got to kind of just give you permission to have blank page and just kind of enjoy the moment without pulling any of the past chapters forward. Don't go back and read past chapters. Brand new page. And I think when we meet people in that space, it's a beautiful space to meet people. We all make mistakes. We all have our learning. We all have our experiences. They're all very different version of yourself from 10 years ago. Literally new page. You both get to write this next chapter, and that's a beautiful space to be in. And I think sometimes when we look at each day is a total new page in our chapter of life. And if we continue to pull back on old chapters and read old chapters, it gets very difficult to meet people in a space of healing. So I will leave that there with you, Maruna. Enjoy the time, enjoy the connection, and enjoy writing on a blank slate with her. Let's see when we need to go. Ria, are there any messages for me? So much. Thank you so much. Excuse me, choking on the air. I'm really pulled to grabbing a message for you out of the Spirit Animal book. I've gone to the Eagle. So let's see here. If this is your first time, Ria, it doesn't all have to resonate. And if it doesn't resonate, just remember what was said. It may resonate with you in a day, a week, a month. There's an opportunity for you that you're considering, and it would be best if you take advantage of it soon. There will be a new beginning in a positive direction following a recent period of strife, one in which you've gained a great deal of stamina and resilience. Detach and rise above all of that so that you are able to see your life and circumstances with a broader perspective and greater vision. It's time for a great spiritual awakening, one where you experience a greater connection to the divine. This is an important time to communicate with the divine for creative inspiration, so heed any guidance you receive. Whatever you put out, positive or negative, will return to you in some form more quickly than ever. You have an increasing ability to walk between the material world and that of the spirit, divine into your inner depths. dive into your inner depths, paying close attention to any visions or inspirations that arise. Meditation, this meditation will help, with answers that you're seeking, or with new beginnings that you want to adventure on. That was a beautiful message. Okay, see where we need to go here. Hazy Puff, is my grandma Belle here, or does she have any messages for me, or any messages from my spirit guides? When I lean into your grandma, I feel very, very strongly that you have this heightened awareness. That I can feel your own spiritual spidey senses tapping in and connecting with her. I feel like you've got this just this knowing that she's helping and that she's kind of navigating with you. What she's showing me though is this stand straight and proud, is what kind of what she's showing me. I don't know if there's been something you've been struggling with standing fully in the power of, or if you've been kind of like shy about it, but she's stand proud and stand very straight in your own personal power, is what she is showing me, very, and she's very firm about it. So if she's just like, this is how it is, stand straight in your personal power. And that's a big one, and that can be a hard one. So I don't know if that resonates with you in this moment, but just kind of remember that she said it. And she's also very clear that she's showing me your connection with her. There's just this powerful connection. I hope that that makes sense there, Easy Puff. um, Jolene, do you get any messages from spirit for me financially? Am I going to be okay, or am I going to sink to the bottom? I don't feel a sinking to the bottom. I feel that you already have an awareness that you've got to kind of shift and kind of shift out of the space that you're in. But I feel like you are willing to do the work. I can see you rolling up your sleeves. Financially, we're all kind of in a very interesting space. I also feel that collectively it is going to level out. I do feel that. I feel collectively it's going to level out. Like any road, it's going to be a bit bumpy, but I do feel that it's going to level out there for you. And I also feel you very much um understanding new directions. I hope that that makes sense to you there, Jolene. There's something about you understand, or already know that there's a direction that you have to take in. I hope that that makes sense to you. And you're very welcome, Jolene. All right, so let's go up here. Andrea Banks, anything for me today? Having a hard time of late. Andrea, when I lean in there, I feel a few things. I feel very strongly that you have been working with the angelic. So I don't know if you've been really connecting to angels and guides, or if you've been real, because they're showing me that they've got you wrapped and helped, and that they're loving you through this process. I also feel, Andrea, very strongly that there's a big gap and a big opening on the other side for you. Like, I just like, I mean, like, there's like new things coming. Like, I feel like you're almost on the other side of this. And I also feel, Andrea, that you are very much, whatever help that you're getting, whether it be holistic, or from the medical world or family world, I feel like you've got the right support and the right intervention there. Does that make sense to you, Andrea? I feel like you've got the right space. I also feel very I don't know if I feel very tired. I don't know if you haven't been sleeping, or sleep's been a big issue, but I'm feeling very tired, and I'm also very much aware of my jaw. So I don't know if you've been holding stuff here in your jaw, but my is feeling extremely tight, and I just feel like you're holding a lot of energy there. I also feel like I need to, and this is kind of interesting, is I feel like I've got to get some rhythm, and I feel like I want to either drum or tap on a table. So I don't know if you have a hand drum. If not, I feel like I need to drum, and I feel like it's just a movement of energy around. I'm also very aware of my stomach. My stomach doesn't feel great, but I feel again that it's energy that's shifting. I feel like you're in the right place with what you're navigating through. I also feel, Andrea, I also feel like I can see a little butterfly around you. I'm not quite sure what that's all about, but I feel very strongly that I need to remind you that you're doing the best that you can. So I don't know if you've been hard on yourself, but you're doing the best that you can. Okay, I hope that you find that very helpful. I do got to keep an eye on the time, you guys. Um, Maureen McKinnon, any messages for me? Let's go to the book. Let's go to the spirit animal book. Oh, the elephant. I don't think the elephant comes up very often. Make a point to be of service in some way to the young, elderly, or those less fortunate than yourself. Do not let anything stand in your way of attaining this goal that is so integral in your purpose. You have the determination and persistence required to overcome the current challenges that you are faced with. Oh, I love that. Trust your senses, and if something in your life smells bad, take the necessary action to do away with it. Remain loyal to those closest to you, in spite of anyone questioning their integrity. It is a good time to renew your senses of connectedness to the divine. That was a beautiful message. I do have to cut you all short. I'm hoping that I have some downtime this weekend to pop on. If not, I'll see you all on Monday. Remember, if you're feeling raw, this weekend, if you're feeling, raw or just kind of out there, that it's all hanging out, embrace it. You're supported and loved, and new versions of yourself are stepping forward. It's going to be an interesting weekend. I can feel that energetically. It's going to be an interesting weekend. And it is interesting when we shy away from our own personal rawness. Have you ever noticed that? We just kind of either hold back, or we don't kind of show everything out. We don't let it all hang out. The good, the, the not so good, the good, bad, and the ugly, kind of all pieces. We all have that within ourselves. And sometimes and depending on, our experiences, perhaps it's shame, perhaps it's, pieces of us that are still going through some healing. It's going to feel raw, and on the other side of that, there's some big spiritual growth. We're coming into, a huge shift energetically. I can feel the momentum of that, very much. I'm wishing you all a wonderful weekend. Love, light, blessings, and a spirit guided day. Thanks for joining me here today. Take care, everyone.